What happens when you combine two of the most iconic football boots of all time? Well, let me show you. Yeah, Hypervenom 1 Regen. My name is Noah Kavanaugh. Let's jump into this absolutely stunning remake. All right, so what is Phantom and what makes this remake so special? Now, the Hypervenom Phantom 1 came out in the early 2010s, and this is a boot that took the world by storm. Neymar, of course, was the headline player for this, who got several different signature colorways, including this liquid diamond version with the gold tongue, as well as the gold and yellow version as well. This was a boot that everyone pretty much adored, and it had this incredible NikeSkin upper, which was super thin, very, very good touch on the ball, and this nice waxy sensation, not too dissimilar from what we have in grip knit today. Now, the construction of this NikeSkin upper is slightly different than the original version, but we'll get into that in a minute. And then, of course, they had a conical stud pattern, which was actually quite rigid and stiff, which made for a very springy sensation when you played in the Hypervenom 1. Now, fast forward a couple generations to the Hypervenom 3. This happens to be my personal pair and my favorite pair of football boots of all time. Hypervenom 3 is just a boot that fits me perfectly straight out of the box. It's one of my favorites, and I have so many memories wearing them. This featured a full Flyknit upper with, of course, some Sense pods on it, and the iconic hyper reactive sole plate, which in my opinion is one of Nike's best ever stud patterns. So for the remake, it's only right that Nike were to combine the two best parts of these football boots into what is chalking up to be one of the greatest remakes of all time. The NikeSkin upper, just identical to the original Hypervenom 1 OG, and then of course the hyper reactive sole plate in that same colorway that we had on the original version. Now, for those of you who haven't tried NikeSkin, imagine this incredibly thin, incredibly soft, super barefoot-like sensation on ball, and then the hyper-reactive sole plate has an immense amount of snapback, the perfect stud pattern with the chevron studs here on the lateral side and conical or hexagonal studs here on the medial side. They're incredibly lightweight and an amazing pair of football boots to play in. It's one of those boots that I am so happy Nike remade. It's one of the most iconic silos they've ever had, and of course the history of Phantom has now brought us to today with the GX2 and the Luna 2, which follow a lot of the DNA from these original Phantom series. But you're probably wondering, what does NikeSkin actually feel like on ball, out on pitch, and how do these perform? Let's jump into it. So getting these on feet is very, very easy. Obviously a standard U-throat tongue, which is really nice, and they give you a very similar sensation to the OG model, albeit maybe ever so slightly stiffer when you first put them on. They feel a little bit more structured as well because of this hyper reactive sole plate and the little external heel counter on the lateral and medial side of the heel area. So you slip your foot in and it feels a little bit more solid and grounded compared to the OG model, but like we're talking 3 to 5% more rigid. Then when you start moving around in them, you really notice the difference between the OG sole plate and the hyper reactive sole plate. Yes, the OG sole plate maybe had a little bit more stiffness through the midfoot and the forefoot compared to the hyperreactive, but the hyperreactive, in my opinion, is one of the most grounded and natural feeling sole plates. That's why it's my favorite of all time. It really does a nice job of feeling like you're in the boots as opposed to sitting on top of them with your feet. Now you'll notice straight away the upper, that little extra stiffness in the upper does provide a little bit of extra lockdown. So for those players who maybe loved the touch and the sensation of the NikeSkin, but wanted a little bit more pizzazz when it comes to that lockdown and that change of direction, this is definitely moving in the right direction while not sacrificing the original feel of that NikeSkin upper. Dribbling in these ones is a total throwback, at least for me. I grew up wearing the Hypervenom in my senior year in high school and my first year in college. I went through a ton of different pairs, different colorways. Absolutely loved that for the NikeSkin, the striking surface, the striking area, that little bit of extra waxy grip that you get on the ball, and it's exactly the same with the these. They have absolutely nailed the coating. It's the exact same, and this NikeSkin upper just does such a nice job of molding around your foot as soon as you put your feet in the boots. And being such a lightweight model, they really disappear on feet. Because of how thin the upper is, it feels super barefoot when you're playing with the ball, doing any sort of scissors moves or step overs or any sort of juggling. It almost feels like you're playing barefoot out here. Now, this stud pattern is going to be best for firm ground pitches, and of course that's how you keep your warranty as well, so I'd highly recommend wearing these on a firm, natural ground surface. The fit in the heel area is also a little bit improved. I find this extra little bit of texturing on the liner of the heel area and the way it feels a little bit more contoured than the previous generation or the OG. Now that may come down to the fact that it's a remake, and so manufacturing might be slightly different even though it's the same football boot, and this external heel counter from the hyper reactive sole plate. But overall, the heel area actually is a +1 or even +2 in terms of upgrades from the OG model. All right, so that is the playing experience in the Hypervenom 1 remake. These are an absolutely sensational pair of football boots. I love that you get some of the benefits of the hyper reactive sole plate and the little updates in the heel area that you wouldn't find on the original, but you still get that beautiful barefoot touch and waxy sensation when you're striking the ball that you always had with that NikeSkin upper. Let's jump back into the studio for some final thoughts. All right, guys, that is going to wrap up today's review and playtest of the Nike Hypervenom 1 OG with this new regen version. These are sensational. It is one of the best remakes of all time. I'm so glad they brought these back. In store, we will have the orange and the white and blue colorway, which is a very special version that actually changes color when you dip it in water. We have super, super limited stock. These are gonna go very, very quickly. So make sure you come in store or online, pick up a pair, get yours, and we will see you guys very, very soon. My name is Noah Kavanaugh. Make sure you guys subscribe to this YouTube channel if you want more content like this, more daily updates on our Instagram at @ultrafootball for football gear, kit, and of course, boots. And I'll see you guys next time at the world's greatest football store.